What are the amplitude, period, and phase shift of the given function? Before we answer that question, we need to rewrite the function a little bit. Look at what's inside of the parentheses here. Focus on that. So we have 4t minus 2 pi. Alright, before we can answer some of these questions, we need to factor this 4 out and put it outside the parentheses, like this. Okay? When you take something out and put it in front of the parentheses, to imagine what goes inside the parentheses, you need to divide. So I need to divide everything by 4 to understand what goes on the inside. So that's going to leave me with t minus. And 2 over 4 reduces down to 1/2, so this will be minus pi over 2. So now we've rewritten that part. Okay, so really the function that we have is f of t is equal to negative 1/2 sine of, okay, and then we have 4 times t minus pi over 2. Okay, so this is really the function that we are dealing with. The amplitude is going to come from this a value. So because of the negative 1/2, I know that the amplitude is going to be 1/2. Amplitude is always positive. Now, the phase shift is going to come from this area, okay, which is the main reason why we had to factor the 4 out. If we didn't take out the 4, it would have looked like the phase shift was 2 pi. But instead, we see that the phase shift is really pi over 2. Okay, and notice it is the opposite sign, so if this is minus, then the phase shift is positive. If this had said plus pi over 2, then the phase shift would be negative pi over 2. So these are opposite signs. Okay, so finally we need the period. Okay, for the period, we can always calculate the period of a sine function by doing 2 pi divided by the b value. Okay, and the b value is this 4 right here. Alright, that's the b value. Okay, so that means 2 pi divided by 4, which is going to be pi over 2. Okay, so the period and the phase shift actually are both pi over 2. So we're looking for 1/2 pi over 2 and pi over 2. Okay, so I see the 1/2. 1/2 pi is the same thing as pi over 2, and another pi over 2. So it looks like we found our answer right away. The answer should be A. Alright, so let's scroll down and check against the official answer. Okay, and hopefully now you understand why.